Here with a quick overview of step 2 of my three-stepped or three-pronged approach to helping you put an end to bad behaviour and deal with difficult people. Now, just to recap, step 1 is all about nailing the violation, being very clear about exactly what it is that a person has said or done that we find unacceptable. Step 2 is tailoring the strategies to make sure that they are matched with that particular violation. And step 3 is personalising our approach. So let's now just look at briefly step 2, tailoring those strategies. What I'm going to give in this video is an overview of those strategies, but not the individual strategies themselves. It would take too long. So I'm just going to give those strategies to you in groups. Now, the first group is about safety. Safety first. That's what it's all about. If you're in fear or you think that there's danger or someone might hit you or whatever happens to be, which sadly can happen, I've heard these stories, you need to make sure that you and other people are, and equipment is as safe as possible. You know, whether it be pressing duress alarms, whether it be getting the heck out, whether it be calling the police, whether it be phoning managers, and if necessary, placating people if they are angry. The second group is all about what I call leaving them to it. Now, sometimes you can actually avoid people who are difficult and rude. Not always possible, I know. But sometimes I've actually said to people, do you have to visit them? Do you have to invite them to your dinner party if that's the way they are? Can you avoid going to that particular department, or is there another way in which you can go to the toilet other than by their desk? Sometimes you can actually avoid them. Or another one is rising above it. You don't always have to respond to every bit of rude behaviour and criticism and stupid comment around the place. You can sort of what I call rise above it, if you like, at least ignore it. Another group is saying what you need to say or asking what you need to say and just pushing through with a tough conversation and saying what you have to say, asking what you have to say and leaving it at that. And I have some scripts that I actually give to people for helping them do that. Rather than responding to stupidity and rudeness or nastiness or abuse, just say what you have to say. Excuse me, but there are 3 things I have to do here, blah, blah, blah. That's the way it is. Just wouldn't say quite like that, but you get the picture. Another group is changing and managing the environment of those factors, the influences on someone's poor behaviour. Sometimes we can manoeuvre and manipulate, sometimes people don't like that word, but manipulate people's behaviour by changing the environment in which they operate. Sometimes it's their skills that are lacking. Sometimes I've actually met people who don't know how to behave properly. They don't actually think, but that's okay, what's wrong with saying that? And I've actually had to say to them, well, look, you can think that's okay, but the reality is in the workplace, other people don't find it acceptable. You have to explain some things to people. Sometimes you can actually charm people into lifting their game. Sometimes you can change the physical environment. I had a case once where I actually had to, it's hard to believe, I actually had to separate 2 people. Now, it wasn't as like children at primary school, but when there was work to do, I simply just didn't put 2 people together on it. No one seemed to mind, no one seemed to understand what was going on. It was simple, and that's the easiest way. I did not have 6 months of my life to spend trying to work out their social interaction problems. The easiest way was just changing the way in which we operated. Another group is all about laying it on the line. There are times when we have to actually say to people, this is the way it is. Your behaviour is not appropriate. And there's ways of saying it so it's not aggressive and rude, it's tactful and diplomatic. And I have a number of scripts in there that you can use to do that. I start off with the FEA script and I move through as things get a little bit tougher up to the FEWER script, and there's a time when you actually have to be a little bit tougher, and I call that going to the next level. There are times when you actually have to deliver the punishment that you said was going to happen. Sometimes, as horrible as it is, you can do what you like to a customer and try and get them on side, but eventually you have to actually say, John, you have to leave. And there's times when you can even have to sever relationships altogether. It's tough. But anyway, I think I've given you a bit of an idea there. So I talk about safety first, I talk about leaving them to it. There's another group of strategies which is all about just speaking up, being assertive, the tactful, diplomatic and saying what needs to be said. Another group about changing the way you operate, they operate, the physical and social environment, policies and procedures, etc. Laying it on the line, speaking up, telling them how it is another group of strategies. And the last one is what I call going to the next level. I hope that's given you a bit of an overview. If you'd like to know more, please just give us a chat. I know I spoke quickly, but I really wanted to get through this stuff as quickly as possible. Make the video shorter. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing, look after yourselves, look after your friends and family, and I do hope to chat to you soon. If you want to talk to me, just go to the contact page of my website. All the very best. I do hope to hear from you soon. See you later.